The radio buzzed with urgent fear. We can't fight effectively. 3 critical injuries, 2 minor. Can't move without more casualties. The enemy has us perfectly targeted from every angle. Lieutenant Commander Jake Morrison pressed himself flat behind a crumbling mud wall which was falling apart under constant machine gun fire. His SEAL team had been trapped in this Afghan area for 40 minutes. Bullets were running low and more men were getting hurt. The enemy kept sending endless waves of fighters. Help couldn't reach them. Enemy positions blocked every path. Air support was 20 minutes away, but they didn't have 20 minutes. The sniper watching from the ridge had gone quiet 10 minutes ago. No one knew if he was alive, probably not. They were out of choices and out of time. That's when Morrison heard a sound that didn't fit the chaos. A different kind of gunshot. Not the sharp crack of enemy rifles or the heavy thud of machine guns. This was steady, careful, and on purpose. A precise rifle shooting steadily from somewhere high and far off. And with each shot an enemy position fell silent. The SEAL next to Morrison, Petty Officer Chen, peeked over the broken wall. "Sir, the machine gun nest on the eastern ridge just stopped firing. So did the rocket team on the roof. And that sniper who's been constantly shooting at us from the tower, he just vanished." Morrison was confused, but he knew this was their chance. "Everyone get ready to move when I say, someone just opened a path for us." Before we tell you who was taking out an entire enemy force with such perfect shots it seemed unreal. Leave a comment telling us where you're watching from and hit subscribe, because what happened next wasn't just good shooting. It was a perfect example of how one person with the right gun and strong will can turn a lost fight around. Staff Sergeant Monica Blake had been watching the SEAL team's fight get worse for 37 minutes from her spot 800 meters away on the opposite ridge. She'd seen them attacked while moving through the area, watched them get hurt setting up defenses, and counted enemies swarming in like water, finding every opening. Her first job was simple: watch from above for the SEAL team on a mission to capture a key target in the valley below. She was supposed to observe, report dangers, and maybe take a few exact shots if absolutely necessary. Just a normal support role for a sniper with the SEALs. But 30 minutes ago, her partner Corporal Davis was shot in the shoulder by an enemy sniper who found their hiding spot. Davis was okay but couldn't fight. The bleeding was stopped, but he couldn't keep going. The team's medic was with the SEALs, who were getting torn apart in the compound. The enemy was slowly wiping out Morrison's team. Monica chose to either save lives or face serious punishment. She was going to take every shot she could make, no matter the rules, no matter how many bullets she used, and even if it meant giving away her spot. Her gun was an SR-25 semi-automatic rifle that used 7.62 mm bullets. Not the usual single-shot, long-range rifle most snipers use. The SR-25 gave up some accuracy at far distances to shoot fast, hitting many targets without reloading after each shot, keeping the pressure on the enemy. At 800 meters it was an easy distance for her gun, and Monica Blake was extremely good at hitting exactly where she aimed. She'd already spotted 32 enemy positions through her scope: machine gun nests, sniper hides, rocket teams, mortar crews, and fighting spots where enemies were pouring fire into the trapped SEALs. 32 targets, 32 urgent problems that needed solving right away. Most snipers would pick the most important targets: leaders, big guns, direct threats, shooting carefully, saving bullets, and staying hidden. Monica was going to do it differently. She'd shoot every target she could see, as fast and as accurately as possible. And she was going to keep shooting until the enemy was gone or she had no bullets left. She checked her bullets: 8 20-round magazines, 160 bullets total. Against 30-plus enemies the numbers weren't good, but numbers often don't account for skill, strong will, or refusing to watch good people die when you can help. Monica settled behind her rifle, controlled her breathing, and began the work of careful killing. The first target was a machine gunner on the eastern ridge. He was shooting constantly at the SEALs, keeping them trapped and unable to move. Through her scope, Monica could see empty bullet shells flying out as he shot countless bullets into the compound. She aimed for his chest, figuring out the wind and how far the bullet would drop, and pulled the trigger. Her rifle fired once. Through the scope she watched the machine gunner jerk back, His gun went quiet, and the constant shooting that had been hitting Morrison's position suddenly stopped. She didn't wait to see if he was dead. She was already moving to the next target, a rocket launcher operator on a rooftop 800 meters northeast, getting ready to shoot another rocket at the compound. She pulled the trigger. The rifle smoothly reloaded itself and was ready to shoot again right away. The rocket launcher operator dropped his weapon, which clattered onto the roof without firing. Target 3, a sniper in a window, 70 to 65 meters away, partly hit. She could only see his rifle barrel and part of his head. Hard shot, but she could make it. She fired. The enemy sniper vanished from the window, his rifle dropping into view, no longer aimed at the trapped soldiers. Confused, Morrison said over the radio, "Unknown friendly. If you're shooting at enemies, tell us who you are." Monica didn't answer. She was too busy finding the fourth target, a mortar team 850 meters away, setting up their weapon to fire explosives right into the compound. She shot the main gunner first, then his helper who tried to take his place. 2 shots, 2 seconds, and the mortar was useless. Now the enemy was starting to fight back. They knew they were being shot at but hadn't found her yet. Enemies moved to hide, harder to hit, but also less able to shoot at the seal. Monica used their confusion against them while they looked for her. She carefully took out their big guns. Another machine gun nest, 2 shooters, 3 bullets total, 1 to make sure. A rocket team moving to a better spot to shoot from, caught out in the open, 3 targets, 5 bullets to make sure they were all stopped. Her gun was getting hot from shooting so much. The SR-25 was made for this kind of work, but she was using it hard, shooting faster than the rules usually allowed. But normal rules didn't cover watching an entire SEAL team about to be wiped out. She'd shot 32 bullets in 4 minutes. 16 enemies couldn't fight anymore. The danger to Morrison's team was going down with each shot, and she could see them starting to gather to move the injured to safety and get ready to leave. But the enemy wasn't finished. A new group was coming into position. 8 fighters who seemed better trained, better armed, and moved smarter. They were moving around the side toward the compound from the north, using hidden paths, moving together in short bursts, and they'd guessed where the precise shots were coming from. Some of them split off, climbing towards Monica's position, guns ready. She had a choice: protect the SEALs or deal with the enemies coming for her. She chose the SEALs. They were hurt and couldn't move. She could move if she needed to. Monica shot at the enemies trying to sneak around, quickly and accurately. The first enemy fell far away. His partner ducked for cover, but she hit him as he moved. The third enemy hid behind a rock, but when he popped up to shoot back, she was ready, already aimed. The SR-25 was working perfectly, even with the heat and constant shooting. Empty bullet shells stacked up around her. Each one meant an enemy who no longer threatened the men below. But bullets were running low. She'd used 5 magazines, 100 bullets, only 3 magazines left. 6, and there were still at least 10 to 12 enemies shooting at the SEALs, plus more coming for her. Monica made another important choice. She couldn't save every bullet. She had to keep shooting as long as enemies threatened Morrison's team. She reloaded without thinking, her body just doing it, and kept shooting. An enemy trying to get closer to the compound went down. Another machine gunner, setting up, was stopped before he could even shoot. An enemy leader, trying to direct the attack from behind cover, found his hiding spot wasn't enough when Monica's bullet went right through the mud wall. The enemy attack was failing, not because they were weak. These were skilled fighters who'd been winning just minutes ago. But they couldn't fight what they couldn't see, couldn't stop a threat they couldn't find, couldn't move forward when their leaders and big guns kept vanishing from precise shots, almost a kilometer away. Morrison's team used the chance to regroup. The SEALs started shooting back in an organized way, not just hiding, but actively removing threats. Their training and gear were better. They just needed a chance to show it. Monica was giving them that chance, 1 shot at a time. Then the enemies climbing towards her position opened fire. Bullets whizzed over Monica's head, hitting rocks near her. They were close, maybe 300 meters below her, shooting with the wildness of fighters who knew they were losing and had to kill the sniper ruining their attack. She had to move. Her spot was no longer safe, but she had clear shots at the enemies coming up, and the SEALs still needed her to cover them. Monica chose to put the mission first, before her own safety. She would stay in this spot and keep shooting until the enemy was beaten, or she was forced to leave by a direct attack. She switched to the closer enemies, the fighters climbing towards her. At 300 meters, the SR-25 was extremely accurate. She hit 3 of them quickly, one after another, shooting too fast for them to find cover. The remaining 5 ran off, trying to get around her from different sides. Smart moves, but they were in an area she knew well from setting up her spot. She knew every rock, every dip, every way in. She caught one trying to hide in a ditch. He'd forgotten that from her high spot, she could see down into his hidden path. Another tried to sprint between rocks, but Monica's timing hit him in the middle of his move. Her gun clicked open. No more bullet. She dropped the empty clip, put in a new one, closed the bolt, and was shooting again in less than 3 seconds. 2 magazines left, 40 bullets. The situation was getting more desperate. Below in the compound, Morrison's team was getting ready to move. She could see them getting injured men out, setting up defenses, preparing to leave the fight now that the enemy pressure had eased. But there were still enemies in position, still dangers that could badly hurt the SEALs as they pulled back. Monica spotted 5 positions that had clear shots at the only way out of the compound. She shot at them carefully. The distance was far for shooting quickly, between 800 and 900 meters, but she'd been making these shots for the past 20 minutes. Her aim was automatic, her trigger finger perfect, her breathing matched her gun's rhythm. 5 positions, 7 enemies total. She hit them all in 90 seconds, using up valuable bullets, but clearing the way from Morrison's team. Morrison's voice came over the radio again. Unknown friendly sniper, we're heading to Alpha. The enemy has broken. I don't know who you are, but you just saved us all. Thank you. Monica took one deep breath. The first time she'd relaxed in half an hour. The SEALs were moving. They'd be safe in 5 minutes. The mission was working, even after the attack. That's when she heard the clear sound of a rocket launcher firing from behind her. The enemy had gotten smart. While she watched the valley and the enemies coming up, another group had gone around, gotten above her, and now had her trapped. Rockets flew toward her spot. She had maybe 1 second to move. Monica dove sideways, leaving her hidden spot, scrambling behind a big rock as the rocket hit exactly where she'd been moments before. The blast threw rock pieces at her, and the shockwave made her ears ring and her vision swim. She hit the ground hard, rifle tight against her, and immediately rolled to see the danger. 3 enemies were moving down from the ridge above her. They'd gone completely around, taken the higher ground. They had the advantage now, but they made one error. They thought the rocket had killed her. Monica rose from behind the rock, her rifle already at her shoulder. At 50 meters, the semi-automatic gun was a deadly close-range weapon. She shot all 3 enemies in under 4 seconds. Close up, speed and force mattered more than perfect aim. All 3. The nearest one was lifting his rifle when Monica's bullet hit his chest. His friends never got a shot away. Her magazine was empty again. Last one, 20 bullets, and she could hear more voices. The enemy wasn't finished. They were still hunting her, and her spot was fully exposed. Monica made the toughest choice of the fight. She had to move now or risk being swarmed. The SEALs were safe. They were moving to get picked up. Her job of protecting them was pretty much done. She could pull back, escape the enemies and live. But as she started to move, her radio buzzed again. Not Morrison. A different voice, younger, full of stress. Any station, this is Rescue 61. We're coming to pick up Morrison's team, but we're getting shot at hard from the ridge. Lots of rockets. At least 2 machine guns. We can't land with this much fire. Morrison's team has badly injured men who won't last if we're delayed. We need immediate covering fire on those spots, or we're pulling out. Monica looked down at the valley. She could see the helicopter approaching from the south. She could see gun flashes from enemies she hadn't shot at yet. Enemies who hadn't joined the compound fight, but were now shooting at the helicopter. She could see Morrison's team in the open, injured men being carried, totally open to attack if the helicopter couldn't land. 20 bullets left. An unknown number of enemies targeting the helicopter. Her spot was found, and enemies were closing in. The choice was clear. Pull back, save herself. Morrison's team would have to find another way out.
Monica Blake was never good at following orders when it meant leaving people who needed her behind.
She found a new firing spot with a clear view of the valley, put it in her last magazine, and began shooting at the guns aimed at the helicopter. The first target was a rocket team tracking the helicopter. Monica's bullet hit the shooter as he aimed. The rocket flew wildly into the sky as he fell. Second target, a machine gun spraying glowing bullets at the helicopter. She put 3 shots into the spot, the shooter, his helper, and the one who tried to take the gun, receiving good cover fire. Enemy guns quiet. We're going in, the helicopter pilot's voice said. Monica kept shooting. Another rocket team gone. A group of enemies trying to get a better shot at the helicopter. She caught them in the open, hitting 2 and making the others hide. Her rifle clicked open, empty. 20 bullets shot in less than a minute. No bullets left. She was out of ammunition, and enemies were closing on her position from different directions. She could hear their voices so close the words didn't matter. The sound told her everything. They were hunting her and they were right there. Monica left her rifle too heavy to run with, and pulled out her pistol. A Glock with 3 clips, 45 bullets total against many unknown enemies. Not good odds, but she'd faced worse. She moved fast and low, using the land and rocks to hide, heading for another escape point she'd found earlier. The helicopter was landing in the valley. She could hear it over the gunshots, meaning Morrison's team was safe. Her job was done. Now she just had to stay alive. The first enemy appeared from behind a rock ahead. Monica's pistol fired twice, 2 quick shots to his chest, and he fell before he could raise his rifle. His friends heard the shots and started coming towards her. Monica kept moving, shooting when she had to, hiding when she could, using every rock and dip for cover. She could hear the helicopter taking off. Morrison's team was safe. A wave of calm mixed with the rush of being hunted through enemy land. 2 more enemies appeared above her. Monica shot from behind cover. Her pistol fire pushed them back but didn't stop them. They knew her spot now and were working together. Her radio buzzed. Morrison's voice. Unknown sniper. If you're alive, we're out safely. All injured are with us. Where are you? We can bring the helicopter back. Monica pressed her radio button while moving. Negative. Landing zone is too dangerous. I'm going to back up escape point Bravo. I'll call when safe. Understood. Waiting. And whoever you are, you just stopped at least 20 enemies and saved 8 SEALs. We owe you big. 23 actually, Monica thought. She'd been keeping count. She reached a spot where the ridge fell steeply into a dry riverbed, which would hide her as she moved away from the main group of enemies. It was a planned risk. Going into the riverbed meant she couldn't see as much, but also meant the enemy would struggle to find her. She slid down the rocky hill, careful not to fall, loose rocks scattering under her feet. Behind her she could hear the enemies shouting, calling out to each other as they searched. At the bottom of the riverbed, Monica moved quickly, gun ready, looking for danger. The dry riverbed twisted through the land for almost a kilometer before opening up where a helicopter could land. She'd covered maybe 300 meters when shapes appeared ahead. 3 enemies who'd guessed her path and set a trap. They shot at once. Bullets whizzed past Monica's head as she dove behind a big rock, shooting back while moving. Her first shot hit one enemy's leg, turning him. Her second and third hit another in the chest. The third enemy had good cover, and was shooting carefully and accurately. Bullets hit around Monica. Rock chips stung her face. The loud crack of rifle fire echoed through the narrow riverbed. She was stuck, few bullets left. Enemies closing in from behind. Enemies ahead, trapping her between them. Monica checked her pistol. 1 clip in her gun, 2 extra. Maybe 30 bullets total. Not enough for a long fight against many enemies. She pressed her radio button. Morrison, I'm stuck in the riverbed, 500 meters north of the compound. Many enemies, low on bullets. I need cover fire or a pickup. Both would be great. Morrison answered right away. Understood. We're turning the helicopter around. An Apache gunship is 60 seconds away. Can you mark your spot? Monica pulled an invisible light from her vest. A beacon only aircraft sensors could see. She turned it on and placed it on a rock behind her. Light is on. Enemy is north of me. About 50 meters. Apache sees your light.
They are shooting. The Apache helicopter flew in low and fast. Its powerful gun was already warming up. The pilot had spotted the enemies using heat sensors and guns, and was bringing huge firepower to fix Monica's problem. The gun roared like a giant buzzsaw. Explosive bullets ripped into the riverbed ahead of Monica, smashing the rocks where the enemies were. The effect was instant and crushing. The enemy shooting stopped suddenly, replaced by the Apache's gun sounds and falling debris. Targets destroyed. The Apache pilot said, "You're clear to move north. Your pickup is coming." 30 seconds. Monica didn't waste time. She ran through the riverbed, gun ready, toward the sound of the helicopter blade. Behind her, the Apache was shooting at the remaining enemies chasing her along the ridge, buying her vital seconds with each blast of its gun. The Black Hawk helicopter appeared, already dropping into the riverbed, despite the tough land and tight space. The pilots were pushing the helicopter's limits to reach her. She reached the pickup spot just as the helicopter landed. The crew chief leaned out, gun ready, watching for danger. Morrison himself was there, reaching to pull her in even as the helicopter rose. "Go, go, go," the pilot yelled, giving it more power. The Black Hawk climbed fast, leaving the riverbed, while the Apache kept shooting at enemy spots. Monica fell onto the floor, breathing heavily, the rush of adrenaline finally hitting her. Morrison was staring at her with a look somewhere between disbelief and deep respect. "You're the sniper. You stopped over 20 enemies by yourself." Monica gave a tired smile. 23 confirmed. Maybe more, I couldn't check, and I had. She pointed to Davis, bandaged and grinning despite his pain, on the other side of the helicopter. "She found me the first 10, Davis said, "then got hit, and I had to work alone." Morrison shook his head slowly. 23 targets at 800 meters, with a semi-auto rifle, while being shot at, all to protect my team. He held out his hand. "I'm Jake Morrison. Who are you?" "Staff Sergeant Monica Blake, from Ranger Battalion, attached to Special Operations for Sniper Support." Morrison tried the name. "Yes, that name is going in my report with a strong suggestion for whatever medal they give for saving 8 SEALs from being wiped out while fighting 30 enemies alone." One injured SEAL, his leg bandaged and bloody, spoke up. "That's called a Medal of Honor, sir, for extreme bravery and courage, risking your life far beyond duty." Monica brushed it off. "Just doing my job. You were in danger. I had the spot and the gun to help. Simple enough." "Simple math." Morrison gave a short laugh, but it held no humor, only deep, tired respect. "You hit targets at distances most snipers wouldn't try, shooting faster than most could, and you did it while your own spot was being attacked. That's not just math. That's not just skill. That's something far more." The helicopter turned toward their base, the Apache flying alongside. The danger was over. Below, the battleground was silent, enemies scattered or dead, the compound empty. The ambush that should have wiped out a SEAL team was instead crushed by one shooter, with a semi-auto rifle, and a fierce refusal to lose. The meeting about the mission happened 3 days later in a safe room at the airfield. Monica sat with Morrison, his team, some officers from Special Operations, and an Army colonel she didn't know. The map on the wall showed the battle area with red dots for every enemy. Monica had shot at 23 enemies confirmed dead, 7 more probably hit, but their bodies weren't found. 30 enemies stopped by one shooter in about 45 minutes of constant fighting. Morrison was explaining the timeline. "At 1:47 p.m., my team was attacked while leaving the compound. We immediately had injuries, 3 in the first minute. Enemy fire came from set positions in 3 directions. We were trapped with no cover and running out of bullets." He clicked the next slide showing the time. At 1:52 p.m., Staff Sergeant Blake started shooting at enemy positions from her lookout spot 800 meters away. Over the next 30 minutes, she carefully took out enemy machine guns, sniper spots, rocket teams, and mortar crews that were wiping out my team. The colonel leaned forward. "Staff Sergeant Blake, your official job was to watch and provide limited precise shots. Why did you decide to shoot at so many targets?" Monica looked him straight in the eye. "Sir, I saw the SEAL team getting hurt and trapped in a spot that would kill them all. I had the gun, the bullets, and the position to change that fight. Waiting for permission or sticking to my small rules would have meant watching good men die when I could have stopped it. So you chose to go beyond your orders and fight 30 enemies with a gun not best suited for that distance or speed. Yes, sir. I believed that saving the mission and the SEAL team's lives was more important than following rules that didn't fit the real situation. The colonel's face showed nothing. And when your spot was found and you were being shot at, why didn't you leave right away? Because the helicopter coming for them was being shot at from spots I hadn't hit yet. Morrison's team had seriously injured men who needed to get out fast. I had bullets left and clear shots at the anti-air guns. Leaving would have meant the helicopter couldn't land, and the injured would have died. So even when your own life was in great danger, you kept shooting at enemies to protect the rescue. That's right, sir. Morrison cut in. Sir, if I may, Blake's actions saved my whole team. She put herself in huge danger to give us cover fire that turned a terrible attack into a win. Every one of my men is alive because she refused to follow rules that would have left us to die. The colonel nodded slowly. I'm not faulting you, Commander. I'm trying to understand how someone does what most people think is impossible. He turned back to Monica. Staff Sergeant, your shooting was checked by our expert shooter. 23 confirmed enemies stopped at 800 meters. Taking about 90 seconds per target with a semi-auto gun. They say this skill is among the top 1% of military snipers. I had good training, sir. You had more than good training. Your record shows you're an amazing rifle expert. You finished Army Sniper School, Advanced City Sniper Course, and 3 tours of duty. But your file doesn't say how you learned to shoot like this. Monica paused, then chose to tell the truth. My father was a competition shooter, sir. I grew up shooting at long distance. When I joined the Army, I already had basic skills that most people take years to learn. Army training sharpened those skills and taught me to use them in fights. And the choices you made, staying calm while shooting at many targets under fire, while your own spot was attacked, that's just training and experience, sir. If you practice enough situations, do enough difficult drills, serve enough times, you learn to put fear aside and focus on the task. Each target was just a problem to solve. I solved them in order of importance. The room was silent for a moment. Then the colonel stood. Staff Sergeant Blake, I want to thank you for your service and your amazing actions in a situation that would have crushed most soldiers. Your actions saved American lives and wiped out an enemy force that had been causing trouble there for months. He pulled a folder from his bag. I'm also here to offer you a chance. Special Operations is creating a new unit that mixes gathering information with direct attack. We need people who can work alone, make important choices in fast-changing situations, and complete missions that normal rules don't cover. Your actions in this fight suggest you're exactly the kind of soldier we need. Monica looked at Morrison, who was watching closely. What kind of unit, sir? The kind that's not officially recognized. The kind that fixes problems others can't. The kind that needs people who think like you. Mission first, rules second, results always. He slid the folder across the table. Read this when you're alone. If you're interested, there's a phone number. The training is very hard. The missions are risky, and you'll never be able to speak about your work. But you'll be with the best, and you'll make a difference in ways regular forces can't. After the colonel left, Morrison came to Monica, smiling. So you're a secret hero who just happens to get assigned to boring watch duties. I'm a sniper who was assigned to SEAL missions because someone thought I could help. Turns out they were right. Blake, you didn't just help. You saved my whole team while fighting 30 enemies alone. The guys are calling you the gunfighter now. They want to know when you're free for more missions. Monica smiled. Tell them I'm thinking about a new job, but I appreciate the honor. You've earned more than honor. You've earned a place in SEAL history as the Army sniper who never gives up, no matter the challenge. He held out his hand. If you ever need anything, and I mean anything, call me. My team owes you our lives. That's a debt we won't forget. 6 months later, Monica Blake was running a tough obstacle course, designed to weed out those without the right mix of brains, strength and mental toughness. She was one of 2 women in a class of 30, and the only one chosen because she'd done something the trainers thought was impossible in a fight. The instructor, watching her finish a precise shooting drill under pressure, wrote in his notes, Blake, amazing skills confirmed, suggest advanced placement. She's already shown she can do the impossible when it counts, just needs to learn our way. Years later, when teaching advanced shooting, instructors used Monica Blake's story, how she fought 23 enemies at 800 meters in 45 minutes with a semi-auto rifle, all while her own spot was under attack. The lesson wasn't just about how to shoot far, though that was amazing. The lesson was about choosing to act when everyone else would wait, about refusing to lose when giving up would be simpler. It was about understanding that sometimes, one person with the right skills and fierce will can change a fight everyone else thought was already over. And most importantly, it showed that the most dangerous fighter might be the one no one saw coming, until she started taking out enemies at distances they thought impossible, all while being shot at from every side. Because Monica Blake proved that day on that Afghan ridge, when a life depends on you, impossible doesn't matter. You find the skill, you take the shot, and you keep shooting until the danger is gone, or you run out of bullets. And sometimes, 20 rounds are all it takes to change everything. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more amazing stories of strong women in uniform.